Inspector Gadget's field trip.
We're going on a visit.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Come on, let's go with him.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
What's that, you ask? What is it?
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Well, no one wants to miss it.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
We're going on a visit.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Come on, let's go with him.
New places, new faces. Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Inspector Gadget here. I'll just review my top secret instructions from the chief. You are in historic Boston, Massachusetts. Stop. Investigate the infamous Boston Tea Party. Stop. Ride with Paul Revere and witness the start of the American Revolution. Stop. If you think the British are coming, stop and get your gadgets out of Boston. First stop, the Ship Beaver 2, site of the world's most famous tea party. Go, go, Gadget Legs! The Boston Tea Party was one of the key events that began the Revolutionary War. Not my cup of tea. I prefer warm milk and cookies. Long before there were 50 United States, there were 13 colonies, not the luckiest number in the world. A colony is like a state, only colonies were owned by England. Many of the colonists came from England to find more freedom. The first colony was Virginia. The other 12 were Massachusetts, New York, Maryland, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, New Hampshire, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. As I might have mentioned, these colonies were still ruled by King George III of England. King George made the colonies pay him extra money and called it taxes on tea. And since coffee was a little harder to get, the colonists were ticked off at the tea tax.
We have no time to lose. Order! Why? We are here to talk about that terrible tax on tea, aren't we?
Now, a group of unhappy colonists decided to make a big teapot out of the Boston Harbor. Let's join this historic moment.
Dump the tea! Into the sea! Dump the tea!
A patriot called Samuel Adams led 150 men disguised as Indians onto the boat. There were 342 chests of tea on that ship. That's 90,000 pounds of tea. Wowzers! They took the chests of tea and dumped them into Boston Harbor. What do you get when you mix 90,000 pounds of tea with 150 patriots? A new drink that starts a revolution. King George didn't think it was much of a party. He took time out from powdering his wig and sent troops to cool the colonists down. But the colonists weren't afraid, especially after all that caffeine. They met here at Faneuil Hall to discuss the rough road that lay ahead. Cobblestones, in fact. They decided to start their own government with their own rules and a tea bag in every pot. Right now, we're walking along Boston's Freedom Trail. Follow the red brick road and you can see the footsteps Colonial Boston took to freedom. It's early America's most historic walk. Go, go, Gadget Sneakers! Look, the oldest park in the United States, Boston Common. They used to park their sheep in this park. Then it was an early military camp. Now it's a swell place to pack a picnic. You can bet your three-cornered hat we're in for an historical investigation. That's a very special cemetery. The Granary Burial Ground where many famous American forefathers are buried. Wonder where they buried the foremothers. And there's Ben Franklin's statue. In real life, he was shorter and wasn't made of bronze. Ben Franklin was full of big ideas. In addition to experimenting with electricity, he invented bifocal glasses and the Franklin stove, just to mention a few. Wonder if he ever invented any of my gadgets. What's a grasshopper weather vane doing on top of an official building? Nobody knows. It's one of the mysteries of colonial America. Probably got up there and couldn't get down. There's the site of the first public school built in the United States. Yes, that's where they invented summer vacation, spitwads, and snow days. Here's the house of the midnight horse-riding hero who warned that the British were coming. Paul Revere lived here. It's the oldest building in Boston. Revere was a silversmith. He made objects out of silver and gold. He was also an engraver and cartoonist. Maybe he could draw me some new gadgets. He was also a bell ringer and an inventor. In his spare time, he practiced dentistry. Paul Revere was a very busy Bostonian. He was also a great patriot who loved America. On the night of April 18th, 1775, instead of delivering dentures, Revere went on his famous ride to warn colonial leaders Sam Adams and John Hancock of the advancing British troops. My great-uncle Galloping Gadget was supposed to make the ride. Unfortunately, he had hoof and mouth disease. His horse wasn't feeling too well either. Revere's ride was also a warning for the Minutemen, a group of volunteers who had to be ready at a minute's notice to pick up their guns and defend the colonists' right to freedom. Revere told a worker to hang one lantern in the steeple if the British came by land, or two lanterns if they came by sea. Luckily for us, he also told them to light the lanterns. The British came by sea and were known as Redcoats for their colorful red uniforms. When the Redcoats were met by the Minutemen, a rifle went off. Although no one knows who fired first or if they actually hit anything, it became known as the shot heard round the world. Someone else made an equally daring but less famous ride. Sybil Luddington was Colonel Luddington's 16-year-old daughter. When the British later raided their town, burning down the homes, the colonel had to stay and muster his men as they arrived. He sent Sybil out on a Paul Revere ride of her own. The first major battle of the Revolutionary War was called the Battle of Bunker Hill. This monument symbolizes that bloody fight where more than 1,100 British soldiers were killed. The American colonists proved they were a force to be reckoned with. 8 years later, they won the war, their freedom, and the right to drink all the tea they wanted. The colonies officially declared their independence from England with the Declaration of Independence. This document was written by 5 forefathers: Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston. I can almost hear them reading it at the old State House on the first 4th of July in 1776, Independence Day. Too bad they missed the barbecue and fireworks display. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. What does it mean to be equal? It means that the laws and rights of the United States apply to everyone in exactly the same way, no matter what your race or religion may be. We are all created equal, even if you're a bionic detective. This is the Robert Gould Shore and the 54th Regiment Monument. Although this monument is a symbol of the Civil War, a war that happened many years later, it honors the first African Americans who fought in that terrible war. Go, go, Gadget Neck! This elevator can go 50 floors in 32 seconds. Of course, it takes another few minutes for your stomach to catch up. We're at the Skywalk Observation Deck. Way down below us, some of the most important events in American history took place. The Boston Tea Party, Paul Revere's ride, and symbols of the war that won America its independence. It was historically great. Until next time, go, go, Gadget Field Trip.